Okay, so is the book standing on the table? Is the book standing on the table?
No, the book isn't standing on the table, but it's lying on the table.
Lying on the table, good. How long do you usually lie in bed at night for? How long do you usually lie in bed at night for?
I usually lie in bed for about 7 hours.
7 hours, good. Is it more comfortable to sleep lying down than sitting up? Is it more comfortable to sleep lying down than sitting up?
It's more comfortable to sleep lying down than sitting up.
Okay. Do you generally wake up early?
Yes, I generally wake up early.
Good. What's the first thing you see when you wake up? The first thing
I see when I wake up is the ceiling.
Good. Do you usually get up immediately after you wake up? Do you generally get up immediately after you wake up?
No, I generally don't get up.
I don't generally
get up immediately after I wake up.
But I lie
in bed for some minutes.
For some minutes, good. So what am I doing? You are putting your pants through the buttonhole of your jacket. Good. So do you like walking through the streets in the rain?
No, I don't like walking through the streets in the rain.
Good. If you went from London to Rome, which cities would you perhaps have to go through? If I went from London to Rome, I'd perhaps have to go through Paris, Milan, etc. Okay. So do you write your name with a cross?
No, I don't write my name with a cross.
Why not? Because
people can think that I'm strange.
Yes, and people wouldn't understand me. Besides, I know how to write. Good. So are there any crossroads at the end of the street where you live?
Yeah, there are some crossroads at the end of the street where I live.
Good. So what color do we use for danger?
We use red for danger.
Do you think the roads are less dangerous these days than they were in the past, do you think?
No, I don't think that roads are less dangerous these days
than they were in the past.
Because there are more cars and there are
in the road.
No.
Oh, okay. So would you like to live dangerously like a detective, someone like James Bond or Sherlock Holmes, for example? Would you like to live dangerously?
No, I wouldn't like to live dangerously like Sherlock Holmes, James Bond,
etc. Because it's dangerous, yes?
Because it's dangerous,
okay.
Yes.
So what's the difference between the words I ought to study and I must study? What do we mean when we say I ought to study?
The difference between these two
sentences is that
when we say ought to study, we are under moral obligation, but
but we have an alternative, yes.
But we have an alternative, and when we say must, we mean we haven't alternative.
Yes, okay, we haven't any alternative. Good. And the translation is я должен, yes, and мне нужно. Okay. So do you agree that pupils ought to study hard?
Yes, I agree that pupils ought to study hard.
What ought we to do when somebody is dangerously ill? When somebody
is dangerously ill, we must call the doctor.
And put him to
bed.
So, what do you think one ought to do if one wanted to earn a lot of money? If one wanted to earn a lot of money? If one wanted
to earn a lot of money, one ought to go to business. Into business and work hard.
What do you think?
Have a little talent.
Okay, exactly. So, what do you think causes war? I think perhaps the fact that some countries.
That some countries are rich and big.
Okay. And strong, yes.
And strong. Yes.
Whilst
whilst others are poor and
weak. Weak causes war. Causes war. So can you think of a cause for which you would be willing to die? Can you think of a cause for which you would be willing to die?
No, I can't think about cause
for which I would be willing to die. For what kind of causes do people generally die for? For what kind of causes? People generally die.
People generally die for causes.
For the causes of.
For the causes of justice,
freedom, etc. Okay, as we have now studied about 1,000 words and a lot of the grammar, do you still find English a little difficult? As we have now studied about 1,000 words and a lot of the grammar, do you still find English a little difficult? As I learn a lot of grammar. I've learned a lot of grammar and a lot of words. I still find English.
I still find English a little difficult.
But I can hold a simple
conversation
in English. Yes, as you are not tall enough to touch the ceiling, what would you have to do in order to do it, in order to touch it? If you are not tall enough, yes? As I am not
tall enough to touch the ceiling, I must put this table.
I'd have to. Мне пришлось. I'd have to put this chair on the table and stand on the chair if I wanted.
If I wanted to study.
To touch it. To touch it, good. So, have you ever broken any bones of your body? Have you ever broken any of the bones in your body?
No, I have never broke ever of my... I've never...
Perfect, yes?
I've never broke any of my...
what? Broken. So I've never broken any of the bones in my body. In my life is okay. So do you think people can be happy although they are poor? Do you think people can be happy although they are poor?
Yes, yes, I think that people can be happy
although
they are poor.
Okay. So give me a sentence with what although. Хотя, yes?
Yeah.
Although I've been to St. Petersburg.
Although I've been St. Petersburg.
Many times. I'll go there again. Oh, okay. Can you cook?
No, I can't cook.
Okay. Do you think that all the countries of the world ought to be independent? Do you think that all the countries of the world ought to be independent?
Yes, I think all the countries of the world ought to be independent.
Independent, okay. Do you know the origin of the flag of your country? Do you know the origin?
Yes, I know the origin of
the flag
of my country.
Of my country. So why don't you take this book home with you after the lesson? Why don't you take this book home with you after the lesson?
Because I don't.
Because this book doesn't
belong to me.
Doesn't belong to me. Good. So who does that pen belong to? Who does that pen belong to?
This pen belongs to you.
Belongs to you. If a factory belonged to you, do you think you would be able to make a lot of money? If a factory belonged to you, do you think you'd be able to make a lot of money? Yes. If a factory
belongs to me.
Supposition. Belonged.
Belonged to me.
I think I'd be able to make a lot of money. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
You are going to throw this pen on the window.
At the window. You're going to throw this pen
at the window.
At the window. Good. Do you think you could throw a stone farther than I can? Do you think you could throw a stone farther than I can?
Yes, I think that I can throw.
I could throw a stone farther than you can. So, is Napoleon